It doesn't cost anything. We don't ask you to do something above, more than you're capable of. Just be kind. When we had an assembly here last year, and we brought in a speaker, and you had 10 of your peers talk about what it feels like when you show up for each other, showing up for each other can change the trajectory of your life. All it takes is a smile, a kind word, a handshake, looking someone in the eyes, saying please, saying thank you, holding a door open. It doesn't take a whole lot of effort. So that's why you're here. We are asking you to be stretched, to make you better, because you're going to learn some things today. You're going to hear some things today. And what we want you to do is when you learn to be better, we want you to do better. So when you learn to be better, we're going to ask you to keep doing better. And that's nothing different than we do on an everyday basis. Without the support of some tremendous community sponsors, Grand Haven Community Foundation, Youth Advisory Council, the Kiwanis Club, the City of Grand Haven, Health Point, Middle School Student Senate. Without some huge sponsors, we wouldn't be able to have Calvin here today. Calvin has been with us since Monday. He's going to be in our building again working with students tomorrow. He is giving us the tools to continue making ourselves better. But we need to make sure that we continue to reach out and thank those people that made this possible. One of the biggest groups in our building that pushed hard because they heard Calvin speak at Calling All Colors in the fall of 2016 is our Calling All Colors club here at the high school. So they have taken a little bit of backlash from some of you, and I want you to know that Yeba and Mackenzie are going to speak to you. Yeba and Mackenzie have been willing to step outside their comfort zone in some respects, to become transparent in other respects, and some of the backlash they've received from some of you is completely unwarranted. So when you have an opportunity to listen today, you might owe them maybe a thanks and an apology. Ready, girls? Here we go.
Thank you. All right. Thank you, first of all of you for showing up today. I know there's a lot of decisions to be made about that. So I first want to say thank you to the Youth Advisory Council for sponsoring today, because it wouldn't have happened without them. Also, we are so excited to share Calvin's message with you. Like Mrs. Wilson said, I was part of a Calling All Colors conference in October of 2016 at Hope College. While there, the main presenter that I got to hear was Mr. Calvin Terrell himself, and it was an incredible opportunity. He presented on the topics of perspective and truth, and he was engaging. He sparked conversations among students that I've never seen before and many speakers brought to Grand Haven. It was not only an inspiring speech, but it inspired me to initiate a conversation for change in Grand Haven. So through countless interviews over the phone with Calvin and meetings with our administration, Mr. Engel, Mrs. Wilson, everybody, we have the ability to have Mr. Terrell with us today.
The two of us are just a small representation of the people who worked hard to get him here. While we've made a lot of progress in our school in terms of equality, we still have ways to go. And Calvin is here to expand your thinking and challenge your perspectives. This is a shared learning experience, and you have the opportunity to have your voices heard and your concerns addressed later on in the presentation. Please welcome Calvin Terrell.
Grand Haven, good morning. Come on, y'all, that was whack. Let's try it again. Good morning. Good morning. Much better. Hey, let's do this. Let's get this out of the way, because I came Monday night, and I really want to thank those parents that showed up, whether they agreed or disagreed with this visit. I mean, that's freedom of expression, and I think we need to hear all perspectives. So I want to get it out of the way. Just yell out in your words, what have you heard about like what's going to happen in this room right now. Negative, positive, neutral, whatever. Just start yelling it out. Come on. Swag. BS. In sign language, that's like, yeah. So I've heard a few things. So let's do this. First of all, thank you for bringing me here. I'm here from Phoenix, Arizona. The snow was blowing my mind, man. It was icy this morning. It was tripping me out. And I always like to get right into things. I have something up here on the screen, and you may be able to see it. If you can't, you might want to like scoot back a little bit. But it's this concept of respect. And if you break down respect, if you break it up, re is a prefix meaning afresh or anew, and spect is a Latin root word meaning to look. So if you break respect down, it literally means to look again. Respect literally means look again. A lot of people have been socially engineered or actually conditioned to disrespect. Here's a superficial example of what disrespect looks like. There's a group of scholars chilling, right, standing, and this girl's walking across the campus, and somebody does one of these. Oh my God, no, she didn't come out of the house looking like that. Look at her, she looked broke down. And what they're doing is just going, right? Respect would be, hey, I wonder what that soul is going through. I wonder what happened to her last night. Hey, I wonder what her family life is like. Look again, look again, look again. Here's another example of that superficial disrespect. Another group of scholars over here hanging out, right? Young man walking across the campus. And they're like, yo, bro, look at that fool right there, look at him, look at him. That nigga's crazy, look at him, look at him. Oh, and by the way, that word you just heard, we'll talk about that word later. Instead of look again would be, hey man, I wonder what's going on in his life. Hey, I wonder like what his relationship with his father is like. Look again, look again. How does he define manhood? Because I know for a long time in my life, the only way as a man, I am a cisgendered straight male, right? And as a man, the only emotion I was allowed to show out loud was anger. It wasn't safe for me to show fear out loud. It wasn't safe for me to show shame out loud. It especially wasn't safe for me to show hurt out loud. I was conditioned as a man, the only emotion I could really show out loud, intense anger. And that look again would be like, how does he express his manner? Look again, look again. But a lot of times we've been trained to just disrespect. So already I'm looking around this room and I'm feeling it. Thank you for your respect. Because I see some people listening with eyes and ears, and I can feel some of you listening with your hearts. Please keep this up, because this type of focus, this type of intensity is what transforms spaces. If we can transform a space, I believe we can transform schools, communities, nations, maybe even a world. Now, a little bit about myself before we get going. Basically what I do is I go throughout the planet, and I've been doing this going on 30 years now, and I try to get people of different so-called races, religions, cultures, cliques, skaters, preps, goths, emos, cowboys, hip-hop heads, cholitos, you name it, to just treat each other with more respect, more dignity. And I will do this work till I die. And the reason why this work is so important to me, I'm originally from St. Louis, Missouri. I've been living in Phoenix going on 28 years. And when I was younger, I had a friend by the name of Andre Carpenter. We called him Rudy. And at 17 years old, he was killed because of the color of his skin. Dude rolls up on him, black pants, red suspenders hanging down. 3 shots later from a hair-trigger Colt 45, my friend went from a whole human being to chunks of bloody meat on the ground. And when this happened, I was real pissed off. I started going down a real destructive path, right? And I wanted to get some payback. And so I started hanging out with a group of young brothers, and units of these sets were sent off to military and university where we would learn to make explosives, shoot tactical weapons. And we were clicking with sets at higher levels because we were getting prepared for something that neo-Nazis call Rahua. Would you please say Rahua? If you want to look it up, it's spelled R-A-H-O-W-A. It is a neo-Nazi acronym for racial holy war, something they want to wage right here on this soil. Now let me back up and also say, I'm not a Republican, I'm not a Democrat, I'm not a libertarian or an anarchist. I am a soul. But you need to know that back in 2008, actually a lot of support was sent to Barack Obama's campaign by neo-Nazi organizations. Neo-Nazis wanted Barack Obama to win the election. I mean, ask yourself, why would neo-Nazis want this biracial brother to win the election? Because their thinking was, if he would win the election, then a substantial portion of this country would feel like they're losing their country and join neo-Nazi movements. It worked. So going back in time, I realized that this group of black and brown brothers I was hanging out with were talking similar hate as those white brothers believed in and killed my friend. And see, when you fight the fires of hate with more fire, you get what? Bigger fire. So me and another friend by the name of Andre Young, we got into a car, and we drove from St. Louis, Missouri to Los Angeles, California. If you know your geography, St. Louis to LA, that's a long drive. It took us 3 days. And on that trip, we made a 180-degree turn. Instead of being agents of hate, agents of destruction, we decided to be agents of unity, agents of justice, agents of peace. So now I do this type of work throughout the world, and my friend Andre Young is a minister in the St. Louis area. So Grand Haven, let me say this before we get started. I really don't care what you all think. I gotta be honest, I don't care. Because if I get too caught up in what you think, I might front, I might try to win you over, I might be a coward, I might try to BS you. I really don't care what you think, but if I'm gonna be honest, I don't care what you think, but I love you. And I don't say that facetiously, I mean it, I love you. I know my purpose as a human being. I will die, even for human beings that hate me. So whether you dislike me, don't understand me, don't care, I love you, and I will die for your purpose. So I am not here to teach you anything, I'm not here to empower you. I am here to help you, in case you've forgotten, to remember how powerful that you are, and to invite you to use that power to better humanity as well as better the earth. Now, I need to get honest, you might get pissed off with some of the stuff you hear in this presentation. You might laugh, you might hear some stuff that makes you sick to your stomach. Heck, you may even hear something that makes you cry. My point is not to shock you, just to paint a real picture about some things that are going on in the world, and for us to ask ourselves a real simple question: are we part of the solution or part of the problem? Because there's no middle knowing, because even when we sit back on our ass and just watch the world happen, that is a non-verbal agreement to what is going on. We never do nothing. The only time we do nothing is when we die. So with every breath, we either breathe peace or poison into this phenomenal existence. So again, thank you for your respect. Now hey, let's get this out of the way. These speakers, these things can really bump. This one kind of sounds like a helicopter right now, right? But these things can really bump. And so if I need you to get quiet, I have a little signal. I mean, it's simple. And because if I turn them up really loud, you may want to jump up, get lit, mueve la colita or something, I don't know. And if you don't understand Spanish, mueve la colita means move your booty, all right? So check it out. If I need you to get quiet, I have a signal I do. It's real easy. If I need you to get quiet, I'm going to put my hand up like this. When I put my hand up, you all put your hand up. Okay, hands go up, mouths go closed. And when you put your hand up, don't do this. Do this. That's the difference, right? Yeah, okay. So, let's practice. When I put my hand up, please put yours up, all right? Let's do it. Okay, word, that's good. Now pay attention, y'all tripping. All right, so, don't bug it, okay. Now I have another thing that I do to get people's attention, and this one is really loud. Hold on. So, I'm gonna let the tech crew work on this. I'm turning this mic up. Can you hear me up there in that corner? Yeah. You hear me back there? Yeah. You hear me over there? Yeah. All right. So, listen up. I have another thing that I do to get people's attention, and this one is rather loud. It's a holler, all right? And this holler is done by some First Nation, native people of the Western Hemisphere. It's also done by Zulu warriors in South Africa and some people of the Middle East. If I need you to get quiet right away, all right, you might hear me do this. Not that. You might hear me do this. Kind of sound like Zing, the warrior princess, right? So hey, hold on. Hands up. Word, okay. amount of noise, all right? Like, go off. For real. All right. No, for real. I mean, like, slap your hand, pull your big toe, whatever you need to do, all right? For real. Now, wait. Hold on. Hands up. Thank you. All right. I give this warning to every group that I work with because somebody did this once. It was actually in Oakland. It was disgusting. Don't do this. I implore you. Please, when you make your noise, avoid making any noises that sting. That's nasty, all right, for real. Even you little silent but deadly types, you know who you are, all right? Keep it to yourself. And also, when I say 1, 2, 3, do not leave a brother hanging. When I say 1, 2, 3, just don't sit there and go. like make noise, okay? It's easy. That's it. It's real easy. So, again, I say 1, 2, 3. You all go off. I say, and then I'm gonna say, then you say, and then quiet. All right? Real simple. Hands up. Hands down. 1, 2. That's a little premature. There's a pill for that. You know. Let's start over. All right. Here we go. 1, 2. Y'all gonna play me, man. Y'all gonna leave me hanging. I can feel it, for real. Y'all like, man, this Bob Marley wanted me. Get him out of my school, man. I ain't doing that. What's up? Hey, Grandhaven, are we gonna make some noise? No, yeah, that was whack. Are we gonna make some noise? That was still, but are we gonna make some noise? All right, here we go. 1, 2, 3. Very good. All right. Hey, do this for me. Since we got to make sure that we got to bring some love and positivity to the space, all right, we got to lift it up. I'm going to put on some music. And when I put on this music, I need you all to do something real simple. You need to do this. It's real easy. When I put this music on, I want you to stand up and connect with as many people as possible around you. So, for example, you might give somebody right here like a high five. Give me a high five. All right. You may dab somebody up. All right, you might hit somebody's elbow. Or wait, you might even do this. Stand up, brother, stand up, stand up. You might give him a booty bump, give him a booty bump. Oh, all right. So, listen up. You can give people hugs, whatever, just keep it legal. All right, keep it legal. But I want you to connect with as many people around you. Just don't get your friends. Even get strangers, people you got beef with. Just connect with as many people. On your mark, wait. On your mark. Get set. With your permission, can I read what this says up here? Thank you. It says, respect, to look again or anew. Consider the concept of a first look. And how can this breakdown of respect be used as a tool to better life on this planet, including our own, with every breath we take? A lot of times, you know, the way we look at the world, we look at it not through our own eyes. We look at it through what our dad has always said, what our mom has always said, what our friends always say, what our social media bubble tells us. A lot of times we don't look at the reality, we don't investigate it through our own eyes. We look at it through the eyes of others. We're kind of Pinocchio, the invisible strings, keeping us from fully earning our humanity. Respect, look again, look again, look again. Now, thank you for your respect. I'd like to get this out of the way. This music I'm playing right now is from a First Nations group called A Tribe Called Red. There's a tribe called Quest, but this is a tribe called Red. They're from Canada. And what they do is they take powwow music and they mix it with trap, they mix it with hip hop, house, techno. This song is called Burn Your Village to the Ground. It's raw. I mean, it is raw. Brutal truth. We don't have time to really get into it. But again, Tribe Called Red, check out their stuff. Intense stuff, right? I like to do this part without the mic because this is kind of a ritual for me, something I do for my ancestors. I may be standing here by myself right now, but I'm not standing here alone. I believe that my ancestors are standing here with me. And my ancestors come in all colors, whatever you call humanity, so-called yellow, black, white, red, and brown. There were many people of all backgrounds, all beliefs, that went before us, that fought and died for peace, unity, and justice. You would not be here, I would not be here, this facility would not be here had they not made those sacrifices. So I have to honor that lineage, that line, you know. And when I'm talking about my ancestors, I'm talking about the ones that did the beauty as well as the horror, because we learn from all of it. If we just talk about her story, you know her story, right? If we just focus on her story, we might miss out on his story. See, we got to get her story, his story, history, and the whole story, and get to the truth. I also believe in honoring the land, because I do this work throughout the earth. I was in Greece and Turkey a few years back. Yo, man, Istanbul is lit. The Wi-Fi is bumping, no joke. And, you know, Turkey's split in half. Half is in Europe, half is in Asia, split by the Bosphorus River. And we were staying down by the Blue Mosque in the Hagia Sophia, right? And there was this police base, real palatial. Because, you know, it's the Ottoman Empire, man. And not this past summer, but the summer before, that base was attacked by the military. The cops and the military went at it with each other. I have friends there right now. I don't know if they're alive or dead. The reason why I'm saying this is I respond to crisis a lot of times in schools and communities. Flagstaff Police Department killed this kid, Kyle Garcia. I had to do mediation between the cops and communities because, you know, the police and the communities, we got to work together. North High School, a riot broke out. All right, 200 black kids over here, 200 Mexicanos over here, they're about to go to war. Phoenix PD rolls through and pepper sprays everybody from the trucks. They use the water cannons, you know, that's how they get down. And I took a bunch of hardcores up to the mountains for a few days, and we created a Switzerland around the school. I'm talking Hoover, Pinaquera, Doble, Tres. I'm talking the bangers kept the peace. At one school, man, sick, crazy stuff that people do, the stuff they put out on the internet. And whenever there's like a disgusting, horrible thing that happens in a space, a certain kind of crisis, there's always this phrase that people say. I'm always praying they don't say it, but they say it every time. The phrase is this. They always say, that wasn't supposed to happen here. They just said it in Florida. Now, I'm always real gentle, but sometimes I want to say to them, well, in your mind, where was it supposed to happen?
Because saying it wasn't supposed to happen here is almost a subconscious arrogance, like it was supposed to happen somewhere else. So please don't fall into the Americana arrogance and think that the things that are happening around the world right now can't happen here. Do you know Syria was the first modern civil war that broke out over water? Syria started over water. Cape Town, South Africa is about to run out of what right now? Water. There are corporations trying to privatize your lakes. Out west, you know what they say about water, right? Back in the old west, they used to say,
whiskey is for drinking, but water is for fighting. So I need to honor this land. So this space where I'm standing, this is the United States, the USA. I believe in honoring that. When I'm back home in Arizona, before Arizona was Arizona, it was Mexico. I believe in honoring that. And before these lands were all called the United States and Mexico, these were all lands of indigenous people. The word Michigan itself is not even an English word. It's Anishinaabe. It's native. It means at the big lake. Oh man, this was the land of the Lakota, Dakota, Nakota, Pawnee, Cheyenne, Taino, Arawak, Apache, Deneb, Miwok, Mexica. Now yo, check this.
if I put up 10 fingers, and each one of my fingers is 10%, what percentage do I have up right now? 100, good math, right? So check it out. Before colonization, los indígenas, the native populations of these lands, were 100% of the population of all these lands. 100%. Today, the native population is considered less than 2% of the population of these lands.
If you are not familiar with that, that is called an attempted genocide. So let's get real, man, because we're like a family that's had abuse in it, and we got to get some healing going. We are the land of the free, home of the brave, yes. But we're also the land of the thief, home of the slave. And we have not reconciled that duality yet. We have not earned and united in these United States. I personally believe if we don't get busy and earn united, our streets are going to run with blood like we've never seen it. Now again, thank you. But I would like to say to you, y'all, let's just keep it real, man. If somebody came into this room right now and sprayed it with bullets, I mean, lit it up. And don't ever be that freaking arrogant and think that can't happen where you're sitting. If that happened, the blood on the ground would not be white. The blood would not be black. The blood would not be brown or yellow. It would all be red. And we would all scream and cry in the same language, and our tears would taste the same. Humankind is one. But we have been tricked out of our interconnectedness. We have been tricked out of the fact that we have a shared destiny. So I am here to invite you to reconcile that. I would also like to say to all the youth in this room, I would like to apologize to you. I would apologize to you from the generations before you. Because you know what? The generations before you, we have given you a world that is in pain. We have given you a world that needs a lot of work. And you know why this world needs so much work? Because the generations before you, we didn't do the work. We kept passing the bloody baton of prejudice on. We didn't clean up the residue of colonization. We didn't heal the wounds. You know, when you walk into a messy room, you're like, yo, I didn't create this mess. But if you don't start cleaning it up, it's going to get messier. So I would like to say to the generations that are now here, the youth, do better than those that went before you. Start really cleaning up this mess. Don't operate on some illusion or delusion of inclusion. Really heal so we can actually make justice for, what does it say in the pledge? And justice for, instead of it being all for just us, let's make it really justice for all. Please repeat after me, if you would. I'd like to teach you in like eres. Everybody please say, tú eres mi otro yo. You are my other me. Si te hago daño a ti, If I do harm to you, me hago daño a mí mismo. I do harm to myself. Say, te amo y respeto. If I love and respect you, me amo y respeto yo. I love and respect myself. This is the poem of In La Cache. By the way, this poem is not allowed to be led by an educator in the state of Arizona. It is considered subversive. In La Cache is a phrase. See, the word Mexico is not a Spanish word. It's a palabra de indígenas. The way you actually say Mexico is Mexica. And so I'm speaking English right now, right? This is English. This is the language of the English. This language that I'm speaking comes from England. This is not indigenous language to this land. This language comes from another place. Yo hablo español poquito, mi esposo es mexicano, mira. Español, ¿qué dónde es español? España, sí, idioma de colonia. Spanish comes from Spain. Je peux faire un peu, un petit peu. Je te l'ai à l'école secondaire, vous savez. Français, oui. Où est-ce que français? France, right? Portuguese, obrigado. So think about it, the languages we speak of the Western Hemisphere, English, Spanish, French, Portuguese, are all colonial languages that were brought to these lands by violence. They are not the indigenous languages of this land. Please let that simmer. That is none of our faults, but it's something we inherited, and we have to really heal. So In La Cache is this poem, and you know what it basically means? It basically is saying that we are each other's mirrors. Has anybody ever seen two mirrors facing each other? When two mirrors face each other, you know what? It goes on and on and on forever. It's infinity. So In La Cache, has anybody ever seen Inception? When the mirrors were facing each other? If we are each other's mirrors as a human race, if we are each other's mirrors, what lives between us as a human race is infinite possibilities of what we can create in the world. Infinity lives between us. But what tricks us out of seeing the infinite possibility in each other is the smoke between the mirrors. Well, some people have been smoking. The prejudice, the judgment, the arrogance, the subconscious senses of inferiority or superiority prevents us from seeing the infinite possibilities. So you know what? Ubuntu is a Zulu word, meaning I am because you are. So what basically it's saying is, I am free because you are free. Or if you are oppressed, then I am oppressed. It means that our destinies are interwoven. So we're going to do some In La Cache Ubuntu right now. Do this for me, all right? I would like to hear your most energetic, motivated, enthusiastic round of applause you could possibly give. Come on, clap it up. Okay, I want to hear that same volume, if not louder, for every group. I'm going to call off a particular identity, a group. If you fit this group or identity I call off, I want you to stand. Anyone who remains seated will give the people standing a huge round of applause like you just did. No boos, no hisses. If you lack the ability to stand up, just get your hands up, all right? So here's the thing. Everybody claps every time for every group in the room. No boos, no hisses, just respect. And even if you stand up, clap for yourself, a little positive affirmation thing. So everybody claps every time for every group. So first, if we could please have everyone out there who identifies as being a woman, all the women, all the ladies in the house, please stand up, give it up, give it up for the women. Clap for yourselves. Have a seat, have a seat. Everyone out there who identifies as being a man, all the gentlemen in the house, give it up for the men in the house. Give it up. Do we have anyone out there who does not subscribe to the gender binary, gender neutral, gender fluid? Anyone that does not play the gender binary game? Where you at? We'll give it up for them. Give it up, all right? Hey, do we have anybody out there shorter than 5'5"? Where the little people at? Shorter than 5'5". Have a seat. Hey, anybody out there taller than 5'10"? Taller than 5'10"? Stand up. Where you at? Give it up. Between 5'5" and 5'10", stand up, give it up. Have a seat. Hey, wait. Do we have any First Nations, Native, Indigenous people of the Americas in the house like the Native? Have a seat.
like Japan, Korea, Vietnam, Philippines, Taiwan, China. Now see, anybody with roots from Southern Asia, roots from like India, Pakistan, Bangladesh, Burma, Myanmar, Sri Lanka, where you at? Now see, hey, anybody with roots from the Middle East, roots from like Saudi Arabia, Iran, Iraq, Israel, Lebanon, Palestine, where you at? Yeah, give it up. Islanders, roots from like Hawaii, Fiji, Samoa, Tonga. Look at that. You see? Hey, anybody with roots from the Caribbean, like Trinidad, Tobago, Jamaica, Haiti, where you at? You see? Hey, what about black, African American, black from Sub-Saharan Africa, all the black folks in the house? Living, breathing, walking symbols of unity. Biracial, multiracial, mixed people. Like your mom was this, your dad was that. All the mixed folks in the house. Give it up, where you at? Now see? Wait. What about people out there who like country, western music? Where you at? Come on. Now see? Hey, what about people out there who like heavy metal, thrash metal, like Slipknot, Lamb of God, whatever metal is? Where you at? Like classical, if you like classical music, yeah. Let's give it up for classical. Now see? Hey, what about people like R&B, soul, or jazz? R&B, soul, or jazz. Give it up where you at. Now see? Hey, top 40 pop, like the Bieber direction, Bruno Mars, Taylor Swift, that kind of stuff. Give it up where you at. Fascinating. It sounds like Transformers having sex. Dubstep? Yeah, good. Yeah, good. There you go. All right, yeah. You see? Hey, y'all know it's true. It's like, yeah. Like, hey, what about people like oldies of any kind of old school? Give it up. Where you at? Old school. You see? Hey, what about people like world music, like reggae, salsa, norteño, cumbia, Celtic? Where you at? Yeah. Music like Christian contemporary, gospel, Islamic, Hebrew, native,